All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Painting with Victor Rigoli, back in the studio here. I'm trying out a new laptop here, one that is a little bit bigger than my other laptop. The screen's a little bit bigger, and so I'm just kind of getting used to it and everything. And so I wanted to do a little recording. I apologize. I got the laptop sitting on a little table, and I probably bumped it a little bit, and that's probably why the camera moved around a little bit. But anyway, I've kind of been out of pocket there for a little while, taking care of some personal items with family, my mom and everything, and then some health issues and stuff like that. But just wanted folks to know that, hey, I'm still alive and kicking, and we're going to be doing some podcasting here pretty soon as well. Trying to create a new podcast out there. One of the things I want to launch is being in the Middle Georgia area. I want to do interviews with local artists. This podcast is going to be called Artist Stories of Middle Georgia. And so I'll go around and invite friends, fellow artists into the studio here and have them join, and we'll do a little video together and just talk shop, just talk about things that are going on, why they got into painting or, creating their art, that kind of thing. I'm an oil painter. I really like using oils and everything, but not everybody does that. Some are acrylic, some are mixed media and that kind of thing. So I'm going to focus in on those kind of artists. One of the things I'd like to do too is talk with some of the directors of some of the art galleries in the Macon area. And I'll be reaching out to them and seeing if they can join me for a podcast. One of the good things that I'm using now, I'm using StreamYard, which allows me to do some live streaming, which is going to be great. I can do some going live here and invite the folks to come in, and we out there doing live streaming on Facebook or YouTube. But right now I'm just going to record the videos and put them out there on Facebook, and they'll be out on I'll put a link on Instagram. I might create a little Instagram page. Of course, on Instagram, you can only do short little videos. Hopefully in the future, you can do longer videos. But then also on YouTube, also on Spotify. So I've got an account created out there on Spotify. So I'll be uploading some podcasts out there as well. So I'm really excited about that. Looking forward to really just sitting down and talking with some of these artists and just get to know them a little bit better and find out about, why they do what they do and how long they've been doing it. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. But in the meantime, I'll still do some demos and talk about certain things in the studio here. Just, projects that I might be working on. I'm continuing to work on some smaller pieces for an upcoming show this summer that's going to be down in St. Simons at Hotel Simone, which is part of the Glen Visual Arts there on the island. And so I'm real excited about that. And so that's coming along, and I'll probably have 25 plus pieces that I've identified that all of them probably won't be in the show. Most of them will. But I want to have more than enough, because once I get down there and I see, where do I need to put all this stuff, where how's it going to fit based off the size, and just kind of setting things up. I got to work all that out. And so hopefully I can do that. And I think I can. So it's going to be neat. We got to work out all the details. Of course, as it gets closer, of course, it's just, we're past mid-March here, and we're on the down slope, as far as March goes. And so, really you got March to April to May to June, another three months or so. But we'll start working and getting things ready. I am working on some other projects. And one of the things I want to talk to some of the artists about is their style. What is their artistic style? Are they more impressionistic? Are they more realism? Who are some of the artists that they follow and they like? Who has influenced them? Whether that's, artists of the 19th century, like the Van Goghs and the Monets and Renoirs and others that are out there that painted, during that time period. Or maybe there's some modern artists that are out there that they follow, because I follow several artists that I like, and my style kind of fits in with what they do. But one of the things that I've been thinking about doing is just changing up my style a little bit. I'm very, I wouldn't say, detail oriented. I think there's probably a little bit more detail in my artwork than some of other people's artwork. Not that I don't do every blade of grass. I don't do every leaf on the tree, that kind of thing. You do shapes and stuff like that, but probably trying to explore painting more loose with the brush strokes, especially in my marsh paintings and seascapes and things like that, landscapes that I do. One of the goals that I have is doing portraits. I've done a couple portraits and everything, and that's a challenge. I really like the end result, and there's a process that you have to go through. Just like I have the process to go from nothing, basically, in a blank canvas to a landscape painting, and there's a process that you have to follow. And so I've got some tutorials that I've purchased and have gone through, and I need to get back into doing that. One of the things I suggest that you do too, as an artist or starting artist, or even if you get stuck and that kind of thing, or you feel like you're being pulled in so many directions, and I get that way sometimes too. You feel like you're just being there's a lot of things that you want to do. There's a lot of things that you want to accomplish and get done. And you feel like you're juggling a lot of balls in the air and trying to keep them up and keep them going and everything. But to really sit down and have some goals. And what I do is I use my Outlook calendar, and I'll have events on the calendar, like, of course, in the morning, I try to do some meditation. I try to do some type of stretching or exercise and that kind of thing. I'm not, keyword is try. Don't do it every day, but I attempt to do it. I try to do it, but it's on my calendar. It reminds me, it pops up and says, hey, it's time to do this. I also have other things on there, like small painting sessions, large painting sessions, working on social media posts, updates to my website. Usually that's like Sunday afternoon kind of thing. I may block out some time to, take some new photos. For instance, earlier today, I was working on some new photos for my website, and some of them had some larger frames. The photos that I had out there, the existing ones on my website, and my wife suggested that I use Frame It, which is an app that I have on my phone, and you can put a small little frame on the photo, and I've done that with some of my other artwork that's out there on the website, and she really liked it. She said, I think you need to do your other paintings like that too, the other photos like that. So I worked on that. I got 5 or 6 or 7 of those done today, and I probably have 4 or 5 more to go. Just taking the time, but it's blocking that out on your calendar so that one of the things I have on there is portrait practice. Getting back to doing some portrait painting is scheduling that time. And so when it comes up, and I have the alarm that comes up on the laptop, and it plays nice little tune, and I look and it says, oh, portrait practice, in 15 minutes. So it starts at 10 or whatever I've got set up for an hour. But the thing about it is, what's hard for me sometimes is because I'm ADD, is I don't stick to that regimen. I don't stick to that plan. And I get so involved in what I'm doing that I just either hit snooze or I just dismiss it. and that block of time for that specific thing that I need to focus on is kind of gone. And I'm guilty of that when it comes to things like portrait practice. So one of the things, and the goal for me, is to adhere to or follow my plan. Friend of mine years ago in my working career in IT, his little motto was plan your work and work your plan. And we always try to instill that in our software developers and analysts is, plan your work out. And when you get it all planned out, what you're going to do today, what you're going to do tomorrow and the next day, then work that plan, because you know what you need to focus on. And that's the thing that I've been trying to do too, is just coming up with that plan my work, and then follow that plan. And when I do that, I feel like I'm a little bit more successful. And I think you can be more successful if you have a plan that you follow, just like following a process of creating a piece of art. Going from a blank canvas to this wonderful creation of a beautiful landscape or portrait or whatever, you have a process that you follow. And if you don't follow that process, you're going to mess up somewhere. You're going to leave something out. Something's not going to fit right. It's not going to look right. Your composition is going to be off. Your values are going to be off. Shape's going to be off, whatever. So you got to follow that process. And I think when we do that, as artists, we'll be more successful. So that's just a little something I wanted to kind of share today, and just say, hey, stay tuned. More's coming. I got to get back in the routine of things. Once we get back into some of the things that now that I'm getting some of these smaller works completed and off the list of things to do, I can focus in on maybe doing a few more little time-lapse videos, instructional videos, things of that nature, and also doing some of the podcasts that I want to do. So in the last week or so, I've been kind of focusing on podcast stuff and just getting the technology set up, the platform set up, the equipment set up that I want to use. And today I'm just testing out using the laptop microphone just to see how that's going to do and how the sound's going to play. And I tested out a video earlier and it sounded pretty good. So I'm hoping this will come through okay. But I do have podcasting equipment and microphone, and I'll be using that some as well. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please like and subscribe to my channel. We're trying to grow it. And please leave me a comment below as to what you'd like for me to talk about. If you know an artist in the Macon, Georgia area, Macon, Warner Robins, Perry, Forsyth, Millersville, in the Middle Georgia area, please drop me a comment below. Let me know who this person is, how I might be able to contact them, and I'll invite them into my podcast and interview them. But thanks for your support, and everybody, you have a great day, and we'll see you in the next podcast. Take care, everybody.